It never fired a torpedo. It had no tubes to fire one from. And yet, once Allied intelligence figured out what it actually did, they started hunting it before they hunted almost anything else in the German Navy. Germany built only 10 of this submarine. Every single one was eventually sunk. And for a stretch of the Battle of the Atlantic, this unarmed auxiliary boat may have been the single most valuable vessel in Hitler's entire U-boat fleet. To see why, you have to look at the math German U-boat commanders were stuck with in the early years of the war. The standard frontline boat, the Type XIV, carried only about 114 tons of fuel, enough for roughly 6,500 nautical miles surfaced. And that number shrank fast once a boat actually needed to hunt, evade, and fight along the way, reaching the richest hunting grounds, the American coastline, and the middle of the Atlantic far from any friendly port. Already used up a huge share of that range before a single torpedo was fired. Every extra week spent limping home to refuel in occupied France was a week not spent sinking Allied shipping. Admiral Karl Dernitz's solution wasn't a better combat boat. It was a boat that didn't fight at all. The Type XIV, built on the hull of the larger Type IXD design, but shortened and deepened to carry cargo instead of torpedo tubes, became known to U-boat crews as the Milchkuh, the milk cow. On paper, this was about as unglamorous as a warship could get. No offensive weapons beyond anti-aircraft guns. No kill count. Just a floating gas station, workshop, and supply depot there purely to keep other boats fighting longer. To a navy built around individual U-boat aces and tonnage tallies, a boat that could never claim a single sinking of its own was never going to be treated as a serious asset. What that dismissal missed was the sheer multiplying effect built into the design. Each milk cow could carry around 600 tons of diesel fuel, plus lubricating oil, fresh food, spare parts, and even replacement torpedoes, along with a small clinic staffed by an actual doctor and a bakery to supply fresh bread to boats that had been living on tinned rations for weeks. A single Type XIV, meeting up with frontline boats hundreds of miles off the American coast, could keep as many as a dozen combat U-boats on station and fighting for weeks longer than their own fuel tanks would ever have allowed. That capability arrived at exactly the right moment, through 1942 and into early 1943, as German U-boats pushed their offensive deep into what the Allies called the Mid-Atlantic Gap, and along the American coastline during the period cruise, nicknamed the Second Happy Time. It was the milk cows quietly working in the background that let those combat boats stay out there far longer than their own design ever intended, turning individual patrols into extended, sustained campaigns and helping drive some of the highest Allied shipping losses of the entire war. The Allies noticed exactly what that meant, and once they had the tools to act on it, they made the milk cows a priority target above almost anything else afloat, as British and American codebreakers cracked back into German naval communications through 1943, and radar and long-range aircraft coverage over the Atlantic improved. Ultra-intelligence began revealing the specific rendezvous points where milk cows were scheduled to meet combat boats. Allied hunter-killer groups went straight for them. Between May and October of 1943 alone, 7 of these unarmed tankers were run down and destroyed, 4 of them in July alone. By the end of the war, every single one of the 10 Type XIVs Germany ever built had been sunk. That loss rate is the real proof of how the Allies actually valued this non-combat design. They didn't waste resources hunting an auxiliary boat that didn't matter. They hunted it first, specifically, because sinking one milk cow didn't just remove one vessel from the war. It instantly shortened the range and the patrol time of every combat boat depending on it. Killing one unarmed tanker was, in practical terms, worth killing several fighting submarines at once. If a machine nobody expected to matter, quietly reshaping an entire campaign from the background, is the kind of story you come here for, hit subscribe. There's more of it on the way. The milk cow never sank a single ship, and it never needed to. Its entire value was measured in what it let other machines accomplish, not in anything it did itself. And the enemy's own targeting priorities ended up proving that value more convincingly than any medal or kill tally ever could. Sometimes the most important machine in a war isn't the one built to fight. It's the one quietly making every other fight possible.